Until some people filter in here.
For sure.
All right. Welcome, everyone. We're back. It is season 3 of Hard Knocks. Throughout all of the best efforts of EA to not allow us to continue playing, we are going to continue playing. That was a little touch and go there for a couple days, but thankfully we have been revived with the jaws of life has escaped us from the trash car. The paddles have revived our heart from the dead stop beating that we were suffering from for 2 days, 3 days?
I think it was a good 2 days. So in that time, we just decided to start a FIFA league. This is actually the first FIFA broadcast.
That's right. Yeah, so now that we're done talking about Madden, offside traps, that's what we're talking about today, and headers into the box, crosses into the box.
Headers into the box. I think I've done that before, but
hey,
not on the soccer field.
You do have a couple kids. It's living proof. Just kidding, guys. We're not going to talk about FIFA for too long. I am joined. This is Jern, one of the commissioners. I'm joined by head commish KK.
Hello, beautiful.
Ooh, which user in Hard Knocks were you specifically talking to there?
Oh, I was talking to you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's so
because
nice.
you actually showed up. So.
Well, I typically do that for podcasts that I say.
Yeah, I know and I don't mean that in the terms of like that you don't show up. I mean you show up, so you're beautiful. So I love that. Thank you. That's great.
Some people who don't show up to scheduled podcasts.
Yeah, especially those that say, "Yeah, I'll be on for that podcast," and then just ghost. So there's those guys.
But hey, we're not salty or anything. We do want to talk about HK today, though. So getting started a little bit. Just wanted to say thanks for everyone for having a pretty good off season. I thought it went pretty quick. Couple of issues that went on, but we moved through it, and we had a draft go through. We actually got to draft this year, which was awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. Expecting the very minimum out of Madden and being happy about it. So good for us.
Exactly.
But we made it through. We made it to the first season, and I think we're in week 4. Am I right?
Yeah.
We're going to be staying here until Friday because of the issues with the league not being able to be accessed for a couple of days. So make sure to get your game scheduled. But we're back.
Absolutely.
We're going full force. I think we're 31 out of 32 users right now as well.
Correct. Yep. We still need a what is it?
49ers user.
A 49ers user.
That's right.
So if you guys know somebody, add them to chat. We'll check their streams, make sure they're a good fit. But definitely get it out there because we need a Niners user, and I mean that's a pretty good team to have to step into, I would think.
Just drafted an X Factor quarterback. It's like 80 overall as well, so nice little Christmas treat for you if you have a friend out there that wants to play as the 49ers. Tell them to hit us up. But so yeah, the off season went well. We're well into the season, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit first about our switch to All Pro. HK loves to have quick reactions with no thought at all, so I figured why not review the massive gameplay change 3 weeks in.
Yeah, that we put absolutely zero thought into, right?
That's right. Yeah, we put no thought into it. We just did it nilly-willy because one person said so.
Yeah, so my initial reaction so far has been I haven't really noticed a ton. It feels a lot of the same. I do think running feels like it might be slightly easier.
Right.
But, that's really hard to say. And I just haven't noticed a ton of difference. Like the biggest difference I felt was when I played J-Stopper, and he routed me. I think I threw several picks in that game, and his defensive ends were just getting ridiculous sheds against me. And that's partly on me for my concept choices and knowing I got to get the ball out. But like the man coverage was still just as good as it had been, so I felt like that didn't change.
Right.
And so like I said, I mean, and I think the biggest reason I lose that game is because I do believe Jay Stopper changed his primary defense, and it could be a result of going from all Madden to all pro. Is like he used to just zero blitz basically nonstop, and he
Right.
actually played different coverages, and I maybe that's changed just because he's been, changing, or maybe it's because of the switch to all pro. I don't know, but outside of that, man, I haven't really noticed a whole lot. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I've played 2 games, and I thought it was about what I was expected. My defense obviously wasn't as good. I also play an aggressive style of defense, and I got torched a little bit, and I think that's kind of what we want. We want a game where if you try to bring heat all game, you're going to get torched if players make the right throw, because now I do think man coverage gets open a little bit easier, which is good because it was way too sticky beforehand. It's not to the point, I don't think, that it's, you can't play man coverage. You can play man coverage and you can play it very well. You just can't run it all game because guys are going to get used to it and they're going to call routes that can actually get open versus man coverage this year. Your zigs and your digs and your slants and your corners that are timed very well. Like for example, I played Trey and he dotted me up, or not Trey, Nick. He dotted me up. I played the Falcons user and he had a really good pass attack despite the fact that I was, mixing it up and playing it very well. You can still get open, which is what we want. We want people to be able to be successful, and we've kind of seen that. We've seen that work a little bit already across the board. I think the touchdown interception ratios are much better. I think we were talking before we got on the podcast, KK, and I think I said 11 or 12 users that have a positive touchdown interception ratio through 3 weeks, and
I think that's right.
then the QB ratings themselves are way up, which is good. It means people are actually having success playing offense and success playing Madden. So I don't think we're throwing in the towel yet. People, I've seen a couple chirps in the chat. It's like, are we staying on this all season? Are we doing this? We invite you guys to, if you have examples of things that are happening now that weren't happening on the previous version on All Madden, send me a clip. I want to see it. For example, I had one person do that. I think it was Jay Stopper, was
It
crying.
was Jay Stopper,
He
yeah.
was crying week 1 about how this pass was totally missed and how man coverage just totally backs people and how somehow man coverage was better on All Pro. He sent me a clip and it turned out the guy was completely open and he threw it late and got it picked off like he should have. I, I haven't seen yet any examples of All Pro itself being the culprit for a bad play. And I'm sure there probably are. Madden has bad plays all the time, but I think it's a better alternative to wide receivers that aren't not being able to get open unless you are a 93 overall X Factor receiver.
And I would definitely agree with that. Like, I think one thing that people should really try to do is when they do encounter things they believe to be, all pro just screwing them over is, take some initiative, go back at your stream, clip it, rewatch it, and in the context of the game. Like, there are things that happen because perhaps you made a mistake or you thought you did something or you thought you called the coverage you didn't. And sometimes weird stuff happens. Like I did have something happen in a completely different game on, totally different settings, and my DB did weird out, but that could be because of something I did. So like review it, and maybe it's not quite as bad as you think it was, because I think more often than not we just see things that go wrong and we're just like, oh, that's because of this. That's because all Madden was way better or all pro is trash or whatever. And in reality, you're just only seeing the negative side of things rather than the whole picture.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there have been plays that you pulled off a very nice play, or your receiver got open versus a coverage that he probably should have gotten open with. You hit a touchdown, and you're not like, oh, thanks, all pro. You're just, you're saying, like you said earlier, KK.
Yeah.
You're just saying, oh, I'm good at Madden now. It's just because my superior intellect and skill has caused my receiver to get open
Exactly.
against
Look at me
press
dot
man
this
coverage.
guy up.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people they forget to give credit essentially where the game is playable, and they only focus on those negative plays where maybe your safety that's in man coverage on a tight end like forgets to cover a guy on a streak. It happens, and it happened on All Madden too. It doesn't just happen on All Pro. It's a Madden issue, not an All Pro versus All Madden issue. But I think the Switch has been fine so far. I want to play more games. Obviously, I've only played 2, so I'm not ready to throw in the towel and say this is bullshit or completely
Sai
devote
says it's shit, and he does not like it.
Well, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. I would also be interested in what's Sai's record at the same time. Is there a correlation there? Maybe. I don't recall Sai having too much success on All Madden either, but who's counting? So.
Right. We don't know how many times Marlon Humphrey got roasted on All Madden either.
Right. Well, he's 1-3, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then we have Sib in the chat saying he's over his emotional breakdown that he had week 1 after playing J-Stop. So he seems to like it.
Good. Well, hopefully more people will come around and they'll give it a chance. And just that's all we're asking for is we're also getting familiar with it. We're making the switch together. So if we feel like the change has been bad for the league, we'll say so. But I mean, so far that hasn't come across to me, and I think the numbers being better is kind of what we're going for. I think it's more realistic overall. So we're gonna stick with it at least a little bit more, kids. Hang in there.
Yeah, we need a little larger sample size
That's
than
right.
what feels like 2 games now, even though we've had 4. But with that break, it really feels weird and disjointed. So
right.
But one thing I figured we could do is, rather than kind of dragging through all the divisions, and especially since we're only 4 games in, I think a lot of people haven't even finished their week 4 game.
Right.
Was gonna go ahead and look at a hot or not segment for the teams that are starting out hot and kind of get everybody's opinion on it. So, Jern, since you're in control of this stream, I'll give you the team, and you can pull up their record, and we can determine whether or not they are hot or not. So based on the standings, I'll just go from there because the undefeated teams are at the top. We got the Colts at 3-0. So who have they played, and are they hot? Would be my question.
Yeah, this is blind react too. I did not know which teams he would call, so I'm going to give a neutral assessment, pure raw assessment on these people's schedules. You said the Colts?
The Colts, yeah. They start out 3-0. They've got a great points for, 88, and points against 42. So he's playing good defense. It looks like 2-to-1 ratio.
Well, here's the thing. Mikey is actually playing games again. So first of all, that's hot. Just the fact that Mikey is playing. Big ups to Michael for returning to play games. So his first game though against the 0-17 Bills from last year, Mr. Mover himself, Joe. 24-21. Not a super convincing win.
Definitely not.
Game 2 against the Jaguars, who's a newbie, pure red menace. Not sure, how good he is based on
but a
his
shutout,
experience.
nonetheless.
But a shutout. That's always impressive in Madden, especially on All Pro, where I'm told that defense doesn't work. But it did work. It did work for this game. He must have switched it to All Madden before the game and then back after. We didn't catch him. And then
that sounds like Mikey.
And then Mikey handled Rudy right after.
Yeah.
Rudy says in the chat, Jonathan Taylor is hot, not the Colts. Fuck that. Well, Rudy, fuck your opinion, because I'm saying Mikey's hot, all right? When he plays his games, he can win them, and he always finishes usually with a positive record. And, call it Jonathan Taylor or call it Mikey, I don't care. That's still on his team, and you have to count that. So, yes, Michael, Naptown Swagger 12, hot. Very hot. Nobody
Very
tell him
hot,
I said that. Because
Mac Jones throwing 3 picks probably contributes.
I'm sure. Because Rudy's not a bad user.
Right.
And Mikey's doing this with a rookie QB as well. So, I mean, he's not going to light up the scoreboard and the passing stats, but, I mean, he plays his game, he plays conservative, he throws to the running back and the tight end, and he gets out of there with a W with solid defense. That's been his formula for the past many years that I've known Mikey, and it works, and he's hot.
So sounds like Mikey is hot, so we'll jump on over to the Packers. Our very own Darius,
who's
been quiet. He's sitting here at 3-1. And his schedule so far, he's played the Rams, and it was a tight game. And A-Bomb is a tough out a lot of times. And then TBK, who's just, I mean, I know we're not doing like the bottom of the league, but TBK is not doing well. So I don't know if I really want to give any credit to that 24-14 win. And then he plays Black Velvet, the new Bears owner.
Did they play? Because it's a force.
Oh,
like.
you're right. It was a force. So I guess
it could have been a non-save or a guy's not here type of issue. I'm not sure.
it could have. And then he routed Niles. So, like, I mean, I would have to say not, just because of the quality of opponent that he's won twice. Niles did make the playoffs. But I'm going to say Darius is not so hot. I think he's pulling the wool over our eyes.
Here's the deal. If there's one thing I know, is that milk is better when it's cold. Just like Darius, who's always on the milk carton. His name hasn't been mentioned in a relevant category in many years. I'm going to say cold on this one. And the best part is he has a gauntlet coming up with the Seahawks and the Saints the next 2 weeks. So we're going to find out real quick if that milk is lukewarm, kind of frothy, a little kind of coagulated, or if that milk is ice cold. We'll find out. But I'm going to say cold for now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Funny enough, I do have the Patriots on here as well. They're 3-1 as well. At the time of me taking this on, it said 2-1. So he's. I think he might have played the Niners user. I know he's on the pod. So
Rudy, can you tell us in chat whether you actually played the 49ers user before he left, or was that a straight sim win? We'll wait to find out, but a 4-point win versus the 49ers, who couldn't last 3 weeks. The 3-point win against Danny, who is perpetually at the bottom.
Well, actually, I don't think you give Danny credit. He's actually been middle of the pack this year. He's been playing a lot better.
Okay.
But yeah, I get what you're putting down.
49ers said he did play the 3-week out 49ers user. Or no, he did not play. It was a force, so he didn't actually play that game.
Oh, it was a force. Okay.
And he got blown out by Jonathan Taylor, he claims, but really it was the Colts. And then an 8-point win against TBK. And a bad Texas team.
Yeah.
Listen, Rudy. Here's the thing about Rudy. Rudy, your crosses in FIFA very hot. Your Madden, cold.
Is not
cold. Cold. Red card. Red card for Rudy. Red card for Rudy.
Next up on the list would be the 3-1 Giants. So Chunk is doing well. He did get routed by Devin week 1, 31-6, and then I'm guessing got a force then for the Niners, or possibly played them.
They did play.
Oh, they did play, yeah. So that's good. So he beat the Niners user while he was here, and then he beat Rebel. And I actually was there for that game, and it was relatively competitive the whole way.
Interesting.
So that's a tight game. I feel like they have games like that. Like they kind of go flip back and forth, and they're usually kind of tight. But I didn't see the whole thing, so I did see some of it. But then he comes back week 4 and just waxes Devin.
Chunk Sally.
So
Chunk Sally.
Junk Sally.
Chunk Sally, baby.
Oh, Chunk Sally. They said Junk Sally.
No, Chunk Sally.
What?
He
Chunk Sally. Yeah.
Here's the thing about Chunk.
Oh, Chunk Sally. Yes, I
the
get
celebration,
you
the GIF. You know. Come on, KK, pick it up.
I know.
We haven't seen Chunk really take off in Madden 23.
No, not at all.
He's been kind of down in the dumps on himself and hasn't played well and has taken big L's. Maybe this switch to All-Pro was just what he needed, because I know he got blown out by Devin, but then he whooped Devin's ass back again as he starts to learn, how to play on All-Pro and gets accustomed to his new quarterback. I'm going to go out on a limb, and maybe I'm going to get burnt, but I'm going to say hot for Chunk. Big hot. The New York Giants are being revived with a great draft class, rookie quarterback, whatever his name is, week to week. they're gonna really step it up, and I think he might make playoffs this year. I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Man, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to say that he's hot. Um, Man, I feel like I want to call him cold, but I think the win against the Cowboys on on that blowout is kind of it's a statement win, is what it is, saying that his Madden season is turning around. So I'll give him the hot. I think I can get behind that.
There you go.
And next up on the list would be the Chargers, my division rival. As much as it pains me, starting out 4-0, throwing the beat down on the Raiders. He beat me badly in our Week 2 matchup. He beat Judy Week 3 and then beat A-Bomb. Based off of the feedback from Sib when he played him and how bad Sib cried that day, I was like, oh, okay, this is crazy. And then I played him, and he beat me down hard. I got to say the dude's hot. Like, I mean, his team has been stacked for years. I think he's starting to understand what he can do and what he likes to do. So I think he's hot.
I mean, he's 4-0. It's hard to say. It's hard to argue that he isn't. His defense itself, I'm looking up sack numbers. He had 5 sacks versus Sib, 7 sacks versus you.
Yeah.
Maybe he's figured something out again with that dual edge threat with Bosa and Khalil Mack. They're old, but they're still playing now. He gutted out a close win versus A-Bomb, and it seems to be a theme that every game that A-Bomb plays is a close one. But I would have to say that J-Stop is hot, and that division itself is hot. I don't think a single team in that division has less than, has a record under 500. I think everybody's over 500 right now. So
Right.
yeah,
And I do like Sib's response that the Chargers are hot. J-Stop is just lukewarm.
there it goes again. You can't play that game. You got to give him credit. It's his team. He's playing the games.
You got to give him credit. He's doing good, and I mean, I expect him to do well the rest of the way. So, I mean, and I feel terrible, but here's the Chiefs. Just to your point, I mean, he's 3-0 right now. I mean, our division is doing well. I didn't put myself on this list because at the time I was 2-1. I'm 3-1, like you said, but he puts a beat down on. This is Nova, right? The Seattle Seahawks. Nova too cold. I feel like that's what his name was originally, and then he came in as
maybe.
King T'Challa.
Yeah.
But yeah, so is that So he beats Nova, comes in, beats the new Browns guy, and then finishes up and beats Johnny Sins. So I mean, looks to me like he's hot. He's playing some good comp and winning games, and he's putting up a lot of points doing it. So
This is Lolo
I
you're
gotta
talking
say
about?
Lolo's hot. Yeah, I gotta say Lolo's hot.
Bro, I didn't know all this. I have to play him at 10:30. What the hell?
I know. I saw that matchup. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta
Oh
watch
no!
this game.
I thought it was an easy W. Oh, that sucks. I'm out of undue respect to my opponent. I obviously will say hot. He's so hot right now, and if I lose tonight, it's obviously because Lolo is just that good, and he's super hot, and nobody could have beat him, not even me. So
Right.
no, that record. I mean, that record's impressive. Beating the Seahawks to start the year, he was very good last year. Convincing win over the new Browns. I don't know how good he is, but the team is good. And the Saints, obviously, Johnny Sins has been a great user this cycle. So,
Right.
hot it is. Oh, it looks like it was a force win. I don't know if it might have been a.
Oh,
It might have been
I
a
see.
force win.
I have not been doing my due diligence and
Come
checking
on,
the force win
KK.
columns.
Come
I know
on,
it's
KK.
trash.
It's all good.
Such trash. So I would say I'm going to round out the hot or not segment there. It looks like we basically say everybody's pretty hot. I don't know where we finish on that, except for Rudy.
Except for Rudy,
He's just
very
ice cold.
Just very, very
He's
cold.
just not.
He's just
And
not
so
it.
Rudy doesn't feel alone. I feel like I got to bring up the fact that the Saints, our very own, oh God, I'm losing. Johnny Sins, 1-2. Like, what is going on in New Orleans?
Interesting.
He is so not hot.
Did he played Judy and lost to Judy? Like straight up? Interesting.
Yeah, like he's riding the struggle bus.
Well, he'll turn it
there with
around.
Rudy.
He'll figure it out. He's a talented user, and he'll be fine. But
Yeah.
that's very surprising. Did not expect that to happen for sure. And he has a good game against the Falcons this week. The Falcons is 0-3 as well, but I think he's more talented than his record lets on. So we'll see.
That's a get right game for him.
Well, it looks like they've already played twice and there's no result saved, so I don't know what's going on there.
That's unfortunate.
Anyway.
But yeah, that rounds out the hot or not segment. So
boom. Congrats to those that are hot. Uncongrats to those that are not. Better luck next time. Find some hot hands and some little space heaters. Try to heat yourself up. Win your games and prove us all wrong, Rudy. That's all I got to say.
Get those thumbs warmed up.
That's right. Not just for FIFA. Not just for FIFA.
Yeah. Spend too much time on FIFA is what's happening.
That's right. Next segment we want to go into is we wanted to talk about kind of the draft that went on, because we actually did get to draft this year. It was a lot of fun. We did the entire draft, all 7 rounds. Took forever before KK realized we could put people on autopilot. But once we did that, it was pretty sick. It's pretty awesome.
Right.
So we're going to talk about kind of the top players at the offensive positions this year so far, because I'm always really interested to see who kind of pops off early in the season with their rookies. The first one I want to talk about is obviously the most important position on the field, and that's QB. And there are 5 teams that are starting rookie quarterbacks this year. Not all of rookie quarterbacks are created equal. The first that we have is Mikey's rookie QB, who I think he drafted number 2 overall, Stephen Ritchie, playing pretty solidly, 106.3 QBR. This guy was a superstar when drafted, which is actually pretty huge, because
for sure
not having to use your captain on that is impressive, because the guy he had last year was just not it. Was not good. He was starting like a 64 overall quarterback for his tank season. But Stephen Ritchie, by all means, is going to be a king at throwing streaks to the tight end. So and swing passes to Jonathan Taylor. So he has it made there. So he is not the only superstar rookie quarterback when drafted, though. The Giants themselves call him Matt Sorensen, call him, what was his name? Jack Niehoff or whatever.
Well, it started out as Mark Wahlberg, and then I changed it to Wilbur something or other.
Right.
And it looks like he's maybe landed back on his original name, because I don't get the reference if it does exist.
I don't either. Oh, is that the quarterback from Friday Night Lights? Matt Sorensen? I feel like it's like a Friday Night Lights joke, or it's like one of those football movies. I'd have to somebody Google that and let me know in the chat who Matt Sorensen is. But I feel like that's not an original name from Chunk. But who knows? Maybe it is.
Of course.
But he's also playing well.
Of course.
He's also playing well. 300 yards a game, 105.2 quarterback rating, and again drafted superstar rookie, which is a game changer. Because I remember last season he was not enthralled with Daniel Jones at all. But thankfully, he found his heir apparent, and he's performing well so far. He's hot, and I think Sorensen's one of the big reasons. 73 overall, so once he gets devved up a little bit, he'll be better. Now, it is a Friday night. I knew it was a Friday night reference. Let's go.
Son of a bitch.
From the TV show. That's right. Well, he's not the only famous television quarterback that we have, because while we have hot quarterbacks that are rookies, we also have not so hot quarterbacks that are rookies. And Shane Falco just hasn't been the same since that Sugar Bowl against Florida State. A-Bomb with the Rams drafted Shane Falco, and he's having a rough go of it. 4 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a QB rating of 53.4. Ugly. Just very ugly. I think he's used a captain. Yeah, he used a captain on him. He's a 72 overall with decent throw power, but A-Bomb's got to play better. Other rookie quarterbacks, I think Green Bay has one who's been pretty okay. I think he's in like the 80s.
Yeah. How many quarterbacks are you looking at here from the rookie class?
5 rookie quarterbacks.
Okay.
So we have George Pierce, who's pretty average, 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 83 QBR, and then the Jets. Who had the Jets? Josh Lockbaum, also pretty trash so far. 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Josh? Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah. So looking at them by comparison, I went back to the Giants and looked at their roster, and I'm not finding a Matt Saracen anywhere. It's really weird. Did he get booted?
Really?
Because the guy I'm seeing at QB is Wilbur Harold.
Did he change his name mid
I,
podcast?
I think he might have. So, well, no, actually,
Oh,
I changed his name
okay.
mid
Gotcha.
podcast
Gotcha.
because we don't allow name changes.
Ouch.
You sons of bitches.
Ouch.
So, if you want a better name than
Interesting.
Wilbur Harold, you can come to me and tell me what his original name was, and I'll change it back. But we're not going to have a league full of guys running around with whacked out names. So anyhow,
Does that mean Shane Falco's about to get the axe as well?
oh, he is. He's for sure getting the axe thing. This is the no fun league, guys. Come
That's
on.
trash. Raiders.
But yeah, of all the QBs, it looks like the guys in the running.
Look at the Raiders QB.
Oh,
that's
God.
gold. Sim has changed his Raiders QB to look exactly like you.
See?
Oh no, he did. He
I
already looked exactly like you. He just changed
He
his name.
already looked like me, and he just changed his name. Jesus,
why is
that
this
likeness
man?
is.
Why is this man not starting? Look, that really is you.
It's a real good likeness, I gotta say. I will
It
admit.
really does look like you.
Yeah. But back to what I was getting at is that Wilbur quarterback out of New York definitely leading the pack at 9. I mean, he's got 900 yards, 6 TDs. His INT ratio is not great, but George Pierce, that's Darius's QB right there with him, keeping pace. So like of the rookie QBs, those two guys are doing well. I am curious where that might land versus the standard passing leaders. Like,
Right.
But
yeah.
I'd have to look it up, see
They're
where
not.
they're at.
not at the top of the pack. I'll say that. They're not.
Yeah.
I don't think a rookie is going to lead this category.
Yeah, so Kyler Murray's got 1,300 yards. Lamar Jackson's got 1,200 yards. So, I mean, they're not bad. They're, a game behind. And we also don't know who's played their fourth game and who hasn't.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that could be some of it. So
And I will say Stephen Ritchie technically has the highest rating, but I would definitely call him a game manager as opposed to
he's definitely a
Wilbur
game
Harold.
manager.
He's thrown half the passes that Harold has thrown. Sorensen, whatever you want.
And
to
that's
call
kind of what I was looking at too here is like the number of completions. Those two guys are definitely trying to, use their QBs.
Right. They're going to be asked to do different things, and I think you're going to see inaccurate throws and interceptions because of it, because Mikey plays a very conservative game. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if these quarterbacks shake it up as they go on. I know it's very hard to play with a quarterback that doesn't have abilities, or a quarterback that has bad abilities and has low overall. So we'll see if they can, rise above and accomplish something.
How do you spell Francis?
Francis? F-R...
That's a rhetorical question. That was more of a joke.
Wait, whose name is Francis?
The Rams QB, apparently.
Nice. I gotta check.
Actually, the better question is, how do you spell Goulier?
Ooh, you got a French. You Le France. Like got a French guy quarterback.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So,
For
suck
running
at you guys.
for running backs, obviously, no doubt about it. There were a few that were drafted. There was a glitchy one that Chicago drafted that had like 99 awareness or something like that.
Oh, I know. So crazy.
So he's pretty good. The Rams got one, and he's kind of the leader of the rookie running backs so far in terms of yards. Benji Butler, who's really nice. And there's actually a lot of teams that have these really nice like 78 plus overall star dev running backs. But A-Bomb, to no one's surprise, is having success with his rookie running back. The Eagles are another one that are having pretty good success with a rookie running back. Tavares Darby, I think he's like 78 overall star as well. Super fast, 94 speed, 95 acceleration. He's going to be definitely one to watch out for. Chicago's obviously is very good. We don't see 86 overall players too often, but he is.
Yeah,
one.
that's absurd.
He has 6 touchdowns through, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, so that's impressive. And the guy's 93 speed, 99 carrying, 99 injury. Oh, maybe it's his carrying. It's his carrying that's OP, not his awareness. But regard, that's
Are
a
you
nice.
sure?
I
Are you
don't know.
sure? Because I'm almost positive of that.
Oh, maybe it doesn't show me his awareness on this screen. But
Right.
he also has 99 carrying, so good to have as a running back. He's not slow either. And then one more, Arizona. I played Nick, and he absolutely carved me up with this little dude a lot in the passing game. Bill McDaniels is another good one. I don't know what his dev is, but he's 93 speed. He's been really good for Nick, so watch out for that. I think Nick is a type of player that I think is going to do very well on All Pro. Because he's a star dev. He's going to do very well on All Pro because it kind of fits his play style more with the breaking routes like corners and zigs and stuff. So we'll see if he
Gotcha.
can bounce back a little bit. Although I know he's not doing too well to start the season. And then receivers. Oh, the receivers in this draft class, I got to tell you, were phenomenal. A lot of them fell late, and there are a few that are cut above. Not to toot my own horn, but my rookie that I drafted at, I think it was like pick 23, he's a god. Superstar dev off rip with 99 speed. He already has, through 3 games, 384 yards and 4 touchdowns. You got a nice one as well, KK. You want to tell us about your guy?
I did. I just drafted him because he was a monster height wise, and I did not expect his speed to be as high as it is at 93.
Ooh.
So I was really happy about that. Unfortunately, he is only a star dev, but I think he's going to dev up pretty well. And I think
Mm-hmm.
he is. I think he's 6'4". So
6'4", 96 jump, 21 years
yeah,
old. Yeah, he's going to be really nice. That's a great
yeah,
player.
he's going to be excellent for me. And I've used him quite a few different times. I think he's got 4 touchdowns, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But a solid addition. I was happy to get him for sure.
One of the best receivers in the class, though, actually went to the Lions. X Factor off rip, Mr. Roderick Roberts. He's been pretty good
Jeez.
so far. 22 years old. He's not tall. He's got a little bit of jumping, but I mean, he's going to be a beast because if you get an X Factor at such a young age, he devs up so quick. Like this guy's going to get an upgrade every 3 weeks. Um, Roderick Roberts is going to be a name to watch. Plus, now you pair that with Jamison Williams on the outside. That's incredibly tough to stop with Lamar on offense as well. So the Lions got a nice one as well. And there are a couple more that I thought were notable. The Raiders themselves have one.
Bruce
Bruce,
Matthews.
Bruce Matthews, right?
Hmm.
And I think he's pretty quick. No, he's 92 speed, but he's had good success with him so far. I think he already has 15 catches, by far his leading receiver, and he's
Yeah.
paired with Speed Demon Quez Watkins. Who else had one? Oh, Baltimore has one. I don't know how much Sib is going to
Do
pass the
they?
ball. Yeah, I don't know how much Sib is going to, you know,
Oh yeah, Mark Verdon. There you go.
or Sai is going to pass
Yeah,
the ball.
he's not targeting him a bunch. Basically, looking at
Look at
all
the
the guys,
halfback.
he's got 110 yards total, 7 catches. So,
Hmm.
like, he's definitely at the bottom of the pack. Is he supposed to be fast?
He's 97 speed. That's why I put him on the list. So
Yeah.
a speed
So,
demon.
really, it is like as of now, like the top guys that are getting used the most are your Daniel Mitchell, Roderick Roberts, and Bill McDaniels. Whoa,
Hmm.
actually, he's a halfback though. My bad. So he shouldn't even really
Who?
be on that list.
Who?
Bill McDaniels.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
Cardinals guy.
that's Nick's guy. So
Right.
it would be Bruce Matthews that's the third guy, and Chris Red for the Giants.
Right.
Those
I
guys
was
are getting used quite a bit.
I was about to mention Chris Reddy's next on my list. He hasn't had a touchdown yet, but he used his captain on him, and he's 6'5". So
God,
6'5",
really?
6'5", 89 jumping, and 87 spectacular catch. He's not fast, but I mean, with those types of physical attributes, you don't need to be. So
Yeah,
he's gonna be one to watch out for as well, and maybe he's one of the reasons that Chunk has been having success too, because you have to account for stuff like that. Like you can't on this type of game style, like you have to account for the fact that somebody is 6'5" and can jump through the roof. It's hard. It's hard to defend that.
for sure.
So that's what I have for impact rookies. I think in terms of draft classes, I looked through it. I wasn't super impressed by one draft class really. I thought everybody had a pretty even class, and no one was like a clear runaway. like last year on the sim, we had some crazy stuff happen. Like it simmed me like two X factors, and so like obviously that was like probably the best class. But this year, two of the classes stood out because only two draft classes had two players with abilities. And that was first the Giants, which obviously, their quarterback, which we've talked about, um, in whatever his name, Wilbur Harold, superstar from the RIP. But they also got a really nice defensive player, defensive tackle. What's his name? Trevor Wall. This kid's a beast. He's 22 overall, superstar, and in my experience, deving up defensive linemen is incredibly difficult this year. I don't think the opportunities come very often. So being able to pull those two things, a defensive lineman superstar and a quarterback superstar, Chunk's draft class was by far my favorite.
That's interesting. I'm curious because didn't you say one of them was drafted like late in the second round? Whose was that?
I don't. It might have been Chunks. I don't think it was though.
Might have been.
I think that
Yeah,
was somebody's receiver. I think that. Oh, that was the Lions receiver. I think.
that's what it was. Yeah,
He was like
just a good.
pick 29 of the second round. Yeah, Trevor Wall himself though, superstar defensive tackle, was round 2, pick 11. So that's a great find.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
Yeah. And then my other favorite draft class was actually a newbie that we have, the Browns. He got extremely lucky with a couple of players, even harder than deving up defensive lineman, offensive lineman. And he drafted a superstar offensive lineman named Lamont Brackett. And this kid he's going to be pretty good because he's 21 with superstar dev, so I think he could dev up pretty quick.
Nice. And I feel like there was a really good corner that was drafted out of this draft class, like crazy
Oh
good.
yes, that unfortunately the person who owns him is currently up for debate because he's on the 49ers. We don't have a 49ers user. He was drafted, I
Gotcha,
think, like
that's what it
3 or
was.
4
Yeah,
overall. His name was Emmanuel Benedict, and he's an absolute freak. Uh,
there
he's
you go.
he's 23, but he's 94 speed, and I think he's X Factor. So
I think he is X Factor. He's 6'3" and 94 speed, 93 excel. He's got great zone coverage at 83. His man's a little low,
well,
but
that's
I'm sure he
exactly what
still
I would
plays
want.
out of his.
That's what I would
Yeah,
want. I would want a guy who has good zone to start, so I can build up his man
right.
myself. Because honestly, it's way easy to build up man coverage stats in this game. So
Gotcha. And
he's a
then
freak.
he doesn't have great jump, but he's got nice hit power. Seeing if I can see his catch on the screen, doesn't look like it, but yeah, I saw him, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy's an X Factor rookie. Like this is bananas, and he's already a 79. So like,
Right.
as soon as he gets scooped up, he's gonna have, probably some good abilities. Looking at his overview, he's got 80 zone and 76 man, so I'm not quite sure what abilities that unlocks, but he'll dev so fast,
Hmm.
and I mean, that's a solid ad.
And to go
But
back to the Browns, they also drafted a superstar linebacker who looks like a freak. This Bryce Miller kid, 88 speed, 93 acceleration, 76 overall at middle linebacker. He's going to be a freak too. So Browns is
jeez.
my number 2 draft class, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I did click on him because I was looking through the defensive stats. So yeah,
I will
that dude's a
say
stud too.
I will say this draft class was not as good as last year's. The numbers of hidden devs were way down compared to last year. It was like, substantially down in terms of X factor. I think we had 6 X factors in the last one. I think we only had 1 or 2 in this one. And then superstars were way down as well. So it was interesting to see, how I guess tame it was after having such high expectations from last year.
Right.
Maybe we just got lucky that first year. Who knows? Or maybe this is an off year. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, it must be.
So next thing we want to talk about, we want to just kind of welcome the new guys. I think we have 4 of them, and an old head returning. So first of all, KK, I'm really surprised. Like they're doing well. Like a lot of them are doing very well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were solid ads coming in and playing a lot of really good games. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah. So first, we have the Bears user, who I believe is Black Velvet. Yeah, Black Velvet. So he's off to a 2-1 start. He just took an L to the Packers, but um,
Right.
he beat Nick and he beat Dar substantially. So we'll wait and see. You know, he's pretty vocal in the chat, and he made some good free agency moves. Like I know he won Quinnen Williams in free agency, so excited to see how he progresses. We also have the Browns, who are 2-1. They've beaten
Swamp Claw.
Right. They beat the Commanders, the previous user, before he left. Took a decent L to Lolo, and then beat Sai. But he's 2-1, so it's good to see the new guys get wins in the column. And then the Jags user is new as well. Pure Red Menace.
Pure Red Menace. Yep.
We already talked about him a little bit. He did take. It looks like he's only played one game because he got a force win versus Niles and a force win versus the Commanders last week.
Mm-hmm.
So the only game he's played. They could have been wins.
Those could be like disconnects, you know.
They could be. I'm not sure.
Like you were saying. Right.
He's also 2-1. And then a guy that I thought was going to be really good because I played him first week and I had to have like a walk-off touchdown against him. The Iron Eagle, OLY Iron Eagle X1. He's 0-4. He just lost to Johnny Sins. So, like as we were on the podcast,
get right game, yeah.
That get right game. But again, that was a close game, 35-42. So we'll see. It remains to be seen. But I mean, if he sticks it out and doesn't give up on his team, which has a bad record, I think he can do pretty well because I mean, you have a rookie quarterback, or not a rookie quarterback, a rookie contract quarterback with all the passing abilities that you could need. I think he's going to be talented enough to make that work if he learns to play with his team a little bit. So,
and then Rudy too. Like I mean, he came in late last season and stuck it out with a team that had no shot and played his game. So like we always love to see guys come in and play.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the last owner of the Patriots just kind of abandoned that team. At least we aren't plagued by that user anymore. At least we don't have to watch him destroy a team again.
It's ridiculous.
Who was that user again?
Greg.
Oh,
it was Greg. Oh wait, he's the new Commanders owner, so he was just going to come in and destroy another team.
Oh, gotcha. Greg's back. That's right. I knew I was forgetting something. Yeah, so Greg's back. He's not actually in the league, even though he's had 2 days to do it. So we'll see. We'll see how long he lasts this time. But excited to see what Greg does with the Commanders. Hopefully, he can put up a really good fighting chance to make the playoffs this year because he hasn't done it with consistency. Or I don't think he's done it at all. Has he done it at all this cycle?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. He has, even though he was playing in the weak AFC. Interesting.
Right. And what a perfect opportunity to come and reintroduce yourself to the league, to be on the podcast, and then not show up. Like,
man, it happens.
It's just outrageous. It's almost like it's symptomatic and spreading to other people.
That's right. Mikey.
I am happy
speaking of other people, check the chat. Mikey is now chimed in. They really started without me.
They really did. Yeah,
we did start an hour ago after we said we would start an hour ago. Yes, Michael, we did. How was your shower?
You must have been real dirty.
Yeah, must have been.
Oh man,
it's all them. It's all those squats and stuff. It's just CrossFit making them all sweaty.
On a real note, I am happy to see Greg back. So hopefully he'll play some games and add some comp to the NFC. I mean, he's got Devin in there, he's got Chunk in there, he's got Rebel and himself. So that'll be a good division.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited to see him not run from the division this time. So we'll see what actually happens if his fears were, with merit the first time around. So. And
that was the team that he was going to be, is it not? No, Commander. He was going to be the Eagles.
He was the Eagles, right?
Yes, that's right. Same division though, but
right. All right. Well, I think that's all that we have.
Yeah, I would say to wrap it up, I would just say, guys, by all means, please keep providing some feedback that's actually somewhat constructive. Like if you see something in your game, it's super easy to clip it or find it or take a note of your stream and just rewatch it. Mostly I want guys doing this for themselves. Like you see something in a game that you don't realize you think is happening and it's probably not happening. Like a function that I've started to use that I kind of stumbled across, even though I knew it existed, is while you're playing your game, if you hit the share button, you can record the previous 15, 30, 45, 1-minute segments.
Do it all the time.
And I forget about that feature. I encourage you to use that. As soon as something happens, you can actually record it, and you can look at it pretty much in the window of time that you have to pick a play. And sometimes you'll be like, oh, that's what happened. And that provides some good insight to your game. And, plus you could always share it with us, and we can kind of review it and be like, oh, this is interesting. But mostly just for your own self. So provide feedback on the switch to All Pro and give it a chance. That's all we're asking.
Please, give me a chance. Please. All right. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you tuning in. Catch you on the next time.
Later, boys.